Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the backstory. If you're new here, kindly hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we head into the 2027 general election, there is a wind that has been flowing that calls for sending President William Ruto home in 2027. But the question is it a reality? And what does the opposition need to do in order to send President William Ruto or to make him a one-term president? And do you think President William Ruto is also sitting back and waiting for the opposition to send him home? So those are some of the things that we're going to look at today. So the first thing that we're going to look at is that what does the opposition need to do in order to send President William Ruto home? All pundits agree that for them to send President William Ruto home, they must field one candidate. That is, the opposition must come as a united front. And is this a reality? Is it possible? Now, there are so many candidates that people are talking about. There are people who are fronting KALONZO Musyoka. There are people who are fronting Matiangi. Then there is Maraga. There is Morara. So all these opposition leaders, there is Martha Karua as well. So all these opposition leaders need to shelve their selfish political interest and front one candidate. But is it possible? Yeah, it has happened in the past. It happened in 2002. It happened in 2007 as well when opposition leaders supported Raila. It is also possible in 2027. But now, there are factions that have come up. There's the Rigathi Gachagua faction, there's UHURU Kenyatta faction, whereby in the Star newspaper today, KALONZO Musyoka, who has been a front runner, is facing a lot of headwinds, is facing a lot of turbulences, because they are saying that there is a dilemma for KALONZO as UHURU backs Matiangi's bid. So the turbulence comes through the fact that UHURU Kenyatta, who was a leader of Azimio, who was expected to support KALONZO in 2027, has now changed gears or has shifted his support base to Matiangi. So we want to look at why. You know, if you are going to look at a united front by the opposition, the first person who comes out as the senior most leader in the opposition is KALONZO Musyoka. So in this, KALONZO Musyoka would expect these other opposition leaders to come and support him, because he comes in on that table with the backing of over 4 million votes of the Ukambani voters. And secondly, is the senior most in terms of age and experience. So for him, he expects the likes of Matiangi, the likes of Omalo Kijana, the likes of Martha Karua to support him so that he can send President William Ruto home. And in the last few months, he's been engaging the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. And in a way, they've come up with a coalition that they think can send President William Ruto home. But still, they expected the support of the former President UHURU Kenyatta to come in handy for them. But unfortunately, according to some sources, or according to what has been written in the Star newspaper, former President UHURU Kenyatta has now shifted his focus to Matiangi, because former President UHURU Kenyatta thinks that Matiangi stands a better chance. So why is it a problem? Why is this a problem to KALONZO Musyoka? KALONZO Musyoka needed UHURU Kenyatta in terms of financial support and in terms of galvanizing Central Kenya. When it comes to galvanizing Central Kenya, that can be done by Rigathi Gachagua. So where the problem is the fact that former President UHURU Kenyatta feels uncomfortable with KALONZO associating himself with Rigathi Gachagua. Remember, heading to 2022 general election, Rigathi and UHURU Kenyatta could not see eye to eye. And even after the Kenya Kwanza administration came into power, the Kenyatta's family has not forgiven Rigathi Gachagua for what the family accused him of trying to do after they came into power. And there were so many things that were said about the Kenyatta's family by Rigathi Gachagua, and all this has not been settled. So the Kenyatta's family or former President Uhuru Kenyatta does not feel kind of comfortable with Rigathi Gachagua supporting Kalonzo Musyoka. And that is where now the problem is, because Rigathi also does not feel comfortable having Matiangi as the front runner, because he wants somewhere that he will be able to call the shots. He sees Matiangi as a candidate that is being fronted by the Kenyattas. And now that they have not settled their issues, this is what now brings the major problem in this coalition. So should the opposition decide to support Matiangi, most definitely Kalonzo Musyoka might not support that coalition, and this will give President William Ruto a chance in 2027. So that rivalry between Rigathi Gachagua and Uhuru Kenyatta is becoming like a problem for the unity of the opposition in 2027. So what other options do they have? Can they support Maraga? Can they support Martha Karua? Or which other candidate can they support ahead of 2027? Because remember, Jeremiah Kioni, who is the Secretary General of Jubilee, has been mentioned several times saying that for them to rejuvenate Jubilee and make it a very vibrant party, they need a presidential candidate. And that presidential candidate for them is Maraga. Maraga, on the other hand, has his own party known as UPA. So will Maraga do away with his party and join Jubilee? He might do that because he needs the support of Central Kenya. And he can only get that support if he is backed by former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Then another issue is the fact that Jubilee doesn't feel comfortable with Rigathi Gachagua because they feel that Rigathi Gachagua is trying to get political candidates or handpick political candidates for different seats, that is the member MPs, Senate governors, by not going through the political party's nominations. He wants to handpick leaders that he thinks can serve his interests. While Jubilee, on the other hand, are also interested in acquiring or capturing Central Kenya or Mount Kenya politically. So that brings a lot of coalition. So unless they settle that issue on how they are going to work out a coalition that will serve the interest of both Jubilee Party and Rigathi Gachagua's party. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua has not launched his party. He was to launch it he said he was to launch it some month in around February, but he postponed it. He said that he will launch it around May. So it's still a matter of wait and see. We'll try to look at what will happen. But the most important thing here, the denominator here is the fact that the opposition needs to unite so as to beat President William Ruto in 2027. But if they don't unite, then it will be a hard task to send President William Ruto. But for me, if they unite and field one candidate, then it will be a game shot for President William Ruto. But I said here before that President William Ruto is also not sitting pretty and waiting for these people to send him home. He has other options. He has cards that he can play. And one of the cards is causing disunity in the opposition. And one of the weakest links in this is, as I say, is Kalonzo Musyoka. By the mere fact that Kalonzo Musyoka sees himself as the senior most leader in the opposition, and he feels that it's his time to be backed up by these opposition leaders in order to vie for the presidency. He feels somehow betrayed by Raila Odinga. He feels betrayed by Uhuru Kenyatta, because these are the people that told him to shelve his political ambition in 2022 because they were going to support him in 2027. And now that Uhuru Kenyatta has shifted his focus towards Matiangi, and Raila has also shifted his focus towards Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka might also decide to either join Ruto ahead of 2027 or go it alone. And if he goes it alone, then it means that he will have weakened the opposition, because the opposition needs votes from Ukambani. They need the support base of Kalonzo Musyoka in order for them to win against President William Ruto. If he decides to go alone, he shall have weakened the opposition. If he decides to join President William Ruto as well, then he will as well have weakened the opposition. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from us. Until next time, bye. If you're new here, kindly hit that subscribe button and the notification bell down below so that you can be notified whenever we post a new video.